Okay. Good afternoon. Good morning, everybody. We'll just quickly we will review what we saw in the last class. We started with the arrays. We know, like in case of a PHP, array is a ordered map. Ordered map. It has a key value. So the index is nothing but the keys, and whatever the values that is stored is the it can be of any data type, and keys can be either unlike other languages, key can be either integers or you can have the a string. And the if it is a integers, it will be like a sequential array. If you have the string, it would be non-sequential. So we will see how to access the non-sequential as well as the sequential. Using sequential, we will just increment the count, and we will get the next key, and whatever the associated value, we will access that. How to declare an array? So this is the variable which will be having storing the array. So when you have $days is equal to, you will call this particular method array with empty bracket semicolon. This will create an empty array and it will assign it. And we know, like in case of the PHP, arrays are dynamic. We don't allocate any kind of a memory at the initialization or at the time of the declaration. We are not specifying the size. So dynamically, we can add the values or we can remove the elements. Accordingly, it will resize. How to initialize array? There are two ways to do it. One is, you can say $days is equal to array, and inside the brackets you can give a list of values separated by the comma. This is one way to do it. The alternate way is, you will have the variable $days is equal to inside the square bracket. So you will give the square bracket. Inside the square bracket, you will give the all values with a comma separation. So this will automatically, it will create an array and it will be assigned to this particular variable. So this is another way. If you want to assign element wise element, first you will create an empty array. Days is equal to array empty bracket semicolon. Then you will access the element of the array in a similar fashion what you do in the other languages, using a square bracket, and then you will have the index or the key value. $days 0, it means it will create it will access the first element is equal to, you are assigning the value. The first element will be assigned the value of mon. And as we told, either we can have a sequential or a non-sequential array. If you don't specify the key, so at the time of declaring the variable of type array, you can have the sequential, either non-sequential. If you don't specify the key, then by default it will be a sequential. Means when here we did not specify what kind of a key, then by default it is a sequential. Means it will have a key with the value 0, 1, 2, 3 incremented by 1. Next $days, and inside the square bracket 1, it will point to the next element or the second element, and it will assign a value of Tuesday. There is an alternate way to do that. You first declare the array, then $days, you will have empty bracket. Whenever you have the empty bracket for the array, it will point to the next available empty location. In this particular case, this is empty, so it will point to the first location, that is the first element. When you do this, what it will do is, at the key or the index of a 0, it will assign a value of Monday. That means the key 0 is mapped with the value mon. This, once this is done, now we have a mon at position 0. Then next, this will empty bracket will always point to the next. Now next empty location is the second location with the key value of 1. There it will assign the next value. This is exactly same as this one. This is how we can access the values. Once you assign the values. Then how to access? Same square bracket you can use. You can provide the key value. So here what it is doing, it is outputting this text to the browser. First one is the string value at index 1 is dot is the concatenation. It will concatenate with dollar days square bracket 1. So whatever is at the key location 1, that value, that is TUE, that will be displayed here. So what you will see on the browser is value at index 1 is TUE, that is Tuesday. Or as I told you, if you don't specify the key, then by default it will take 0 1 2 3 so on. That is sequential. Otherwise you can specify the key, whatever the key you want to specify. Dollar days is equal to array. So how to specify? 0. Okay, that is the key. You will use this operator, equal greater than. That is the operator for having the key and the value pair stored in an array, and it is separated by the commas. So key value pair separated by the comma, what it will do is it will map this key to this value, and this key to this value, and so on. In this case, we are mapping, this is a non-sequential. We have Monday is mapped to 40 value. For example, this is some kind of a forecast data. On Monday, the forecast is 40, on Tuesday 47, and so on. When you want to access the data, you will be giving that key, particular key. So this key, dollar forecast, inside the square bracket you will give the key value, which will fetch you 47. Similarly, THU key is mapped to 40, it will output the 40. Multi-dimensional array, we can create multi-dimensional array. How to do that? So you will call the array, and inside the brackets you will call the array method again, depending upon what kind of a size you want to have. In this particular case, each of this array call inside the another array call will form as a row. So this is first row, second row, third row, and fourth row. And each of this array, whatever the elements it has, those will form the columns. Actually, as I told you, it is like a two dimension, you can say. This particular value is mapped by a two dimension. One is here we did not specify the key, therefore this would be array 0 1 2 3, and this it would be the first element, that is 0 and 0. If we want to access this particular value, it is identified by the two dimension. uh, so dollar month, first square bracket 0 and second square bracket 0, this will fetch this particular value. So this is the example they have given, whatever has been explained. So each would be a row, right? And inside the row, we have the second key, that is this one, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So each value will be accessed using two keys. That is the two dimensional. This is another example to create a multiple dimensional arrays. A dollar cart is equal to array. What it will do, it will create an empty array, and inside that empty array, what I am doing is dollar cart, this empty square brackets, it will point to the zeroth location, or the location where the key is 0. Then is equal to, you are assigning another array where you are specifying the key. These are not sequential. What is the key? Key is ID, title, and quantity, and you are assigning some value for those three. So this would be like we have three rows and three columns. Since this is created without specifying the key, by default it will take an index of 0 1 2, and inside this array we have another array. Each row is an array, and that particular array is having a non-sequential array, and having a key of ID mapped to 37, title is mapped to this text, quantity is mapped to 1. If I want to access any element, suppose if I want to access this particular element, this particular value, I have to give two keys. One is 0, second one is quantity. Suppose here they have given the example. If I is 2 is the first key and second one is the title. So this particular thing will access this value, that is Starry Night text. Iterating through an array, we already saw that how we can iterate. Each element you can iterate. You can take the count of the total number of elements, and you can just increase the key value. You are incrementing the key value, and you can iterate through that particular array. This is for the sequential. For non-sequential arrays, you can use the for each. So for each, inside the bracket, you will say dollar forecast. Dollar forecast already I have shown, right? So this is the Monday 40, Tuesday 47. This is the non-sequential array. To access dollar forecast as some variable name, and what it will do, this will automatically iterate through all the values until it reaches the empty value. That is when it will come out. So this loop will go on and it will print dollar value. That is first one is 40, then it will concatenate with a break. So what it will do is it will display 40, then next line 47, and so on until the last value. This is just we are printing the value. If you want to access both key and value pair, what you can do is dollar forecast as some variable that will be considered as a key with operator equal greater than and dollar value, and you can iterate through all the values. uh, how it will be displayed: day concatenated with a key is a Monday. On browser, how you will see mon, okay, day mon equals 40, day then tue is equal to 47, and so on. Adding to an array, how to add to an array. So in the our example, how many values we have stored. So this is the example: Monday 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have stored Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They are having a key of 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So next possible key value is 5. So if you want to add any value at that particular position, what you can say: dollar days inside the square bracket, you give the key as 5 is equal to new value Saturday. But this is, like the fifth location is empty, and you are giving the that particular key, and you are storing the value. Let us say if you don't know what is the last empty element, then what you can do is you can just use the empty square bucket. You specify the array name dollar days with a empty bracket, and you will say now 5 is at key 5 sat value is stored, which is the next empty location, that is 6. Automatically this particular statement, when you have days as empty, it will access the sixth position, and it will take the key as 6 and assign a value of sun, that is Sunday. Okay, PHP is more than happy to let you skip an index. In case of a PHP, if you don't want certain index, you can just skip it. So when you do the skip, what will happen is at that particular position, if you try to access, null value will be stored. In this example, you can say dollar days is equal to array Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So by default, it will assign the key as 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I am skipping some keys and directly I am assigning the 7. Now $days 7 is equal to SAT Saturday. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So fifth and sixth keys or the indexes are skipped. If I say print R dollar days, it will print with that respective values. Now, another way to do that is, this is one way to do it. Another way is you can say $days is equal to, you call the array inside the bracket, you specify the key, this is the key, and you map it to Monday. This is the first value, this is second value, this is third, fourth. You can see here after fourth you are just skipping the fifth and sixth, directly you are specifying the Saturday. Okay. If we try to reference $day 6, it will return a null value. So if you skip any index or the key, null value will be stored there. So if you want to make sure that a particular value is present or not inside the your code, you should check for the null, or there is another way of doing it. You can say, we'll see it here. You can explicitly delete array elements using unset function. So what we can do is we can delete any array elements using this particular function unset. This is the example. Here we are assigning an array with these values. An array will be created with the key 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 to 4, and those keys map to these values: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you call the unset program and you specify the element unset inside the bracket $days, this is 2. What is 2? This is 0, 1, 2. That is WED or Wednesday. That will be deleted. And second, one more element is deleted. That is the next one. That is THU, unset $days 3. If you run these two commands, this value WED and Thursday will be deleted from the array. So what is the resulting array? What we will have print, if you print that value, you will say 0 mapped to Monday, 1 is mapped to Tuesday, and uh, 2 and 3 are deleted. What we have is 4 is mapped to Friday. So that is how what happens. Let us say you don't want, when you delete something, you want to rearrange the indexes, right? What that means is, suppose if you delete any element in between, you don't want to skip the sequence, you want to maintain that particular sequence. Then what you can do, you can call this function array values. $days is equal to array values. What it will do, it will rearrange the key and it will assign it in the sequential order. Array underscore values is the method, and you will pass the array. So you are passing this array where there is the break in the sequence of the indices. What it will do is $days you passed, then you print it, you will get it is in the proper sequential order. Now 0 is mapped to Monday, 1 is mapped to Tuesday, and 2 is mapped to Friday instead of 4 mapping to Friday. So this is how we will get it in the sequential order. You can explicitly delete array elements using unset function. Array underscore values re-indexes the array numerically. So as we seen in the example, we can use the unset to remove any element, and when you remove the element, if it is in the sequential order, the sequence will be broken wherever you have removed. If you want to maintain the sequence again, you can call the array underscore values method. You pass the array and it will reindex. So that will be in whatever the number of elements, they will be ordered from 0, 1, 2, 3, and so on. $days, again we are assigning this value Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That is the array. This is the repetition. Okay. It is the same example what we did, what we saw in the previous slide. Checking for value, since arrays keys need not be sequential, they need not be and need not be integers. You may run into scenarios where you want to check if value has been set for a particular key. To check if value exists for a key, you can use the isSet. Okay, I told you, like, you if you don't want to access a certain key where there is no value, then you can use the isSet method, where you will check whether it has a value or not. If it has a value, it will return true, otherwise it will return false. That is the method isSet. We will see it in the example. We have initializing the array, declaring the array and initializing dollar odd keys, that is the name of the array, is equal to array. Inside the bracket, I have key 1 map to hello, 3 map to word, 5 map to exclamation character. If you see here, 0 is not present, key 0 is not present, 2 is not present, 4 is not present. So if it is value is not there, then you don't want to take certain action, or if value is there, you want to take some action. Depending upon that, you can use the isSet. We are checking if isSet dollar odd keys at index of 0, it index of 0. So if you see here, index or the key 0 is not at all present. So what this will return? This will return false. This particular code will never get executed. The code below will never be reached, since this first zeroth key element is not set. So whatever is there, it will never get executed. This is just an example based on your requirement. Let us say if particular value is not set, then you don't want to do the processing. So for that, you can use, you can if the value is present, then you want to take certain action. According to that, you can use this method. Next, one more example. If is set dollar odd keys inside the bracket, the key 1. So at key 1 or the index 1 is mapped with the value. So this is not empty. So this particular method is set will return true because the value is set. What this will run since the key value pair was defined for the, this will result true. When this condition is true, it will come inside, and whatever the code is there, it will execute. Sorting. There are many built-in sort functions which sort by key or by value. To sort the $days array by its value, you would be simply use the sort method. So it's an inbuilt function that is provided. You can sort by the key, you can sort by the values using the sort method. So to sort the $days, that is the array what we have created, you will just pass it as a parameter to the sort function. Sort, inside the bracket, you specify the array name, array variable name, and then semicolon. As the values are all strings, the resulting array would be, so how the array would be, how it will look like once you sort it, because all the values are text. What sorting will be done will be is alphabetical order. If you see here, at index 0, FRI, Friday, because alphabetically F comes before M, M comes before S. Okay, and when it is checking the S, both are first letter are S, then it will go for the next letter. Here it is A, and here it is U. So SA will come earlier than the SU. So that is how it's like a dictionary wise sorting of the text. Okay, in this case, what happened was, I will show you our, okay. If you remember that particular example, we had started with a Monday, 0 map to Monday, then 1 map to Tuesday, 3, 2 map to Wednesday, and so on. Now, after the sorting, you can see here the mapping got changed, even though it is sorted properly, but the keys got changed. If your requirement, you don't want to change the keys after it sorts the all the values, then what you can use is this method, a sort. A better sort, one that would have kept the keys and values associated together. That is, a sort is the another function where it will preserve the key map. That mapping will be preserved in case of a sort, and you will pass the array variable and semicolon. How it would look like after you execute this particular statement? It would be like Friday. If you see, the order will not change. That Friday will come first, mon, sat, sun, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That order will not change, right? Because it has sorted by the values. But if you see earlier, whatever the mapping it had before sorting, it will preserve those mapping. 0 is mapped to Monday, and if you see, 1 is mapped to Tuesday, and 2 is mapped to Wednesday. That the key and value mapping is preserved in case of a sort, depending upon your requirement, whether you don't care after the sorting, you don't care for the keys, in which what was the original keys, then you can go for this particular way of doing it. If you want to preserve the key and the value map, then you can use a sort method. There are many other methods are there. Array underscore keys dollar sum array, so it will give the all the keys. This array underscore values will give the all the values. See, here you will get the just the keys. Here you will get the values. Then array random, you will give the some array variable name, and you will specify how many random numbers you want. So you will get the random. If you want to do the reverse, okay, you can do the reverse. Array underscore walk is another. In underscore array and shuffle, these are the many functions that are available in case of a PHP, which can be used on the arrays. Okay, next one is super global arrays, dollar underscore get and dollar underscore post. PHP uses special defined associative arrays called the super global variables that allow the programmers to easily access the HTTP header, query strings, parameters, and other commonly needed information. So you will understand how useful is the super globals. In case of PHP, it has created the super globals where you can, when you submit on the client on the browser side, when you submit the form, whatever the information including the query string, everything will be passed on to the server. So if you want to read what information is there in the HTTP header, or the what are the query strings that are passed, or other information, you can use the super globals and easily access the information. They are called super globals because they are always in the scope and always defined. Why they are called super global? Because they are always in the scope. Always you can access those super global variables from any part of the code. This is the example: dollar underscore get and dollar underscore post. The dollar underscore get and dollar underscore post arrays are the most important super global variables in PHP, since they allow the programmer to access data sent by the client in a query string. So whatever is coming from the HTML, okay, whatever gets submitted using dollar underscore get and dollar underscore post, you can easily read what information has been set. This is the example of the form. Action is what? Process login.php. This is the PHP code. Method is get. Okay, when you have the method as get, you will get all the information under dollar underscore get. When method is post, you will get the values under dollar underscore post super variable. And what are the things you have? There is a, you have a username. Okay, how your form will look like? There is a name label, and there is a text box beside the name. There is a text box, and that text box name is given as uname. And I have one more next line. I have one more label called pass, that is a password, and after that I have one more text box, and the name given for that text box is PASS, that is pass. And after, so you have name and a text box, pass and the text box. After that I have a button, and what kind of a button? It is a submit button. So when you click on the submit button, whatever has been typed in the username and password, it is sent to the server as a query string. Say on the HTML client, okay, you will have this particular code, and on the browser, how you will see? You will see it as a name text box, pass text box, and below there is a button. When you click on that button, so this is the code, it is shown here. Name, some information is given, password, uh, this is the next label, and you have the information, password information. Then you have the submit. When you click on the submit, it will be sent as a HTTP request to the server, and in the when it is sending the HTTP request, the information will be sent like this. This is a get method, process login.php, that is the resource I am looking for. So when you send that request, server will understand this particular code, PHP code needs to be called, and it will pass this information. U name, that is the name you have given, U name equal to Ricardo. Ricardo is whatever is passed here, and ampersand, that is how you separate the different values. These are the variable name and the value pair. Then next variable is the pass, which represents the second text box, this text box, and is equal to whatever the value that is typed in. Then it goes to the server. When it is goes to the server, this is how the dollar underscore get super global variable will be set. Okay, so that is a set as a array within the file process login.php. Inside that code, you will have access to those values. How you will get those values? You will say dollar underscore get, then inside the square bracket you name. So dollar underscore get is nothing but a key and a value pair. And what is the key? Key is the whatever the variable you have declared here. So this would be the key, and this would be the value. If you say dollar underscore get you name, what is stored in there? Ricardo. That value is echoed onto the browser. And here dollar underscore get, and you are accessing the key. The next one is the pass. What value is stored? What value is mapped to this key? PW01. That, so you can easily access those username and password inside your PHP code. And let us say you are doing the validation, maybe your information is stored in the database. You will check with the database whether the given user exists or not, and if he exists, you will check the whatever the password is given is correct or not, and according to that you will return the with the whatever the further action. Maybe you will move to the next page. Maybe it is accounts, you will move to the accounts page. Let us say given user ID or password is incorrect, then you will send the request saying that user ID and the user ID or the password is incorrect. Get request parse query strings into the dollar underscore get array. So here in this particular case, the query strings gets into the dollar underscore get array. Post requests are passed into the dollar underscore post array. So it should be dollar underscore post. If since the request, previous example, since the method was get, these values will be parsed into dollar underscore get. If this method is the post method, then these values will be parsed into dollar underscore post. This mechanism greatly simplifies the accessing the data posted by the user, since you have not parsed the query string or post request headers. So we don't have to parse the query. If you had to parse the query, then you have to take care of like this, how the separation is done, how the assignment is done. After the question mark, the the first key starts. All those things you have to do that particular parsing. And if it is a header information, whatever the header information, you have to parse it in order to get the information. But here it simplifies everything. We have two global variables, super global variables, dollar underscore get. Directly it will be the query string will be parsed into that, and we can using just the key. If you know the key, you can access the values. This particular code, it will check, determine if any data sent. This is a example here. We have a HTML document. This is the beginning of the HTML. This is the ending of the HTML. Body begins here. It ends here. Inside the body, first I have the PHP code. The PHP code starts from here. It ends here. So the start of the PHP code, less than question mark PHP, that is the PHP start tag, and this is the PHP close tag. Inside this particular PHP, so this is another dollar underscore server. We are going to see that is another super global. If dollar underscore server and the key is request underscore method, either it will have a value of a post or the get, depending upon whether the request has come as a get request or the a post. So if this condition is true, then inside the bracket, so this is the beginning of the bracket, this is the closing of the bracket. If particular request is a post, and inside if is set dollar underscore post uname, and is set dollar underscore post pass. Why you are doing this? You want to make sure that both the user ID is present and the password is present. When this is true, when whatever the request we got inside the query string, user has entered the value and then clicked on the submit button. Let us say both the boxes are empty and user clicks on the submit. What will happen? The uname equals nothing will be there, and pass equals nothing will be there. So those values will be set as null. So you are making sure these values are set. When this will return true, when dollar underscore post username value is set. Okay, if it is given on the browser, then only it will be set. If username is available and if password is available, then you will process the code, handle the posted data, whatever you want to do, you will do it here. And this is the same form. This is the PHP code. After the PHP code, I have the how the form will look. Some page that has a login form, that is the header. Inside that you will see uh, the label text box. Okay, here it is. They have used the break earlier. This break will bring it to the next line. Earlier it was not used, that's why it was in the same line. Okay, so this is the example. This is how it will look like. This particular form, whatever the form it is calling, action is sample page.ahp. When when the form is submitted, the server will know to call this particular code, and it will pass on these values, uname and the password. That is how, based on that, inside that sample page.php, you will have some code to handle the validation and take the next action based on the validation is successful or validation is failure. This is how it will look like. Request for login.php checks whether any form of a data has been submitted. Okay, it will check here. Once it is clicked, request for the login page, a server request is sent, request for the login page, login.php checks whether any form of a data has been submitted. So inside the code we are checking whether any kind of a data is present or not, and if data is present, perform some type of a processing on the form data, such as checking the credentials in the database and displaying a error message. So based on the processing, first it will check whether the data is present. And if you see the code here, even one of these data is missing. If username is missing, or this is a and. Okay, and this condition will be true only when this is user has typed the username and also he has typed the password, then only it will become true. If one of these values are missing or both are missing, it will return false. Okay, and you can give some kind of a error on the page. User and password does not exist. This is the same code. Accessing the form array data. Sometimes in HTML form, you might have multiple values associated with a single name. So if you remember, we did the checkbox, right? Certain, for example, in certain web application, you have interest. You are checking the interest of people. They might be having multiple interest. So there will be multiple values. In case of a multiple values, how to check that? Now you can see this is the form, method is get, then you have a content on the web page. It will be shown as please select days of the week you are free. So when you are free, there can be multiple values that are checked. So it will show the checkbox. Monday, it will show the text Monday, and after that it will show the checkbox. If you see that how many options are there, 1 2 3 4 5 options are there, and all of them are checkbox, and all everybody's name is exactly the same, only the values are different. If I check on Monday, this value will be sent. If I check on Tuesday, this value will be sent. If there are multiple values will be sent. Now if you see, the variable name is exactly the same, okay, but it has multiple values. So variable name is one and it has multiple values. How to handle that? Then after that, I have a submit button. Once I submit, whatever is selected, it is sent to the server as a query string. So, in the previous example, unfortunately, what happens is if user selects more than one day and submits the form, dollar underscore get a day. Why this is a day? This is the value, right? This is the name you have given for that particular control. If you say dollar underscore get a day, value in the super global array will only contain the last value from the list that was selected. Suppose if you have selected all the values, only Friday will be given. Okay, only the last value, because we are not taking it as an array. It is just mapped as a single value. To overcome this limitation, you must change the name attribute for checkbox from day to day bracket. So day bracket is what? This is an array. Now, instead of having it as just the one variable day, you should make it as an array. So how to make it as an array? Just you will have the a square brackets after the day. So once we have that as a day in the square bracket, it will point to the next empty location. So if multiple selections are there, automatically it takes the value into those multiple locations. And how you will access that? Using you will say dollar underscore get, and day is the key. After making this change HTML, the corresponding variable dollar underscore will have the value that is of type array. So this will have a data type would be array. Now if you want to print all the values, one first is what they are printing is inside the PHP code, echo you submitted concatenated count. It will print the count of this. Let us say user has selected all the 5 days. It will print you submitted 5 values, that is will be displayed on the browser. And if you want to iterate through each of those values, you will use the for each. Whenever there is a non-sequential, you have to go through the for each, right? That is how you will loop through the each element. For each dollar underscore get inside the bracket day. So this is the variable which is a array as a dollar d. So it will point to the first element. When it is going for the first time, it will print each dollar d. It will print here Monday, then concatenate with the comma Monday, then it will go for the next element Tuesday, comma Wednesday, comma, so on until all the values are echoed onto the browser. On the browser, what we will say, Monday, comma, Tuesday, comma, so on, comma, Friday. Using query string in links. So this particular topic we'll see it in the next session, using query string in the links.